Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Ooh-oh, ooh-oh.
Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies, the podcast where, in this instance, we went and saw a movie with 9 people. 9 people. Yes. Am I right? 9 people?
Yes, you got it.
9. Nice. And instead of pushing through the intro, we are going to do a slight introduction because a lot of them have not been on the podcast before. So we're going to start right in front of me. Introduce yourself.
My name's Lizzy.
All right.
My name's Kaya.
Kaya.
I'm Chloe.
Chloe.
I am also Chloe.
The Chloes.
I'm Marie.
I'm Todd.
I'm Selah.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Matt Malloy.
All right, this is the podcast where all 9 of us went and saw a movie at our local Regal Cinema Theater, which is closing soon, and we're very sad about it, but we will press on. We're not stopping the podcast. This is the podcast where after we see the movie, we sit in the parking lot and we discuss such things as, should you see this movie? Should you not see this movie? Should you snack during this movie? Should you hold off? Do you need to take a nap? Should you craft? Should you occupy your mind? Or do you need to be paying attention the whole time because it's just that darn good? This is where the intros go. But we did that already. So, Tim or Matt?
Well, the other thing that we need to establish is what people are wearing also.
Yes, sorry.
So.
Let me go through again, and we're going to start here.
Okay, so I'm Lizzy. I'm wearing my prom dress. So I'm wearing a floor-length, fluffy pink dress with chacos. Pink chacos. Sparkles.
It does sparkle.
I'm Kaya, and I'm wearing a white tank top and a pink flowery skirt.
Nice.
Oh, and heart-shaped sunglasses.
Nice. Yeah, you are.
Okay, I'm the first Chloe, and I'm wearing kind of like a pink lacy crop top and a cute flowy pink skirt and my 5-inch stilettos heels from prom.
I am also Chloe. I'm wearing a vaguely pink Streetlight Manifesto t-shirt and tan pants because it's the best I could do.
And
Nice.
do a pink eyeshadow.
And I have pink eyeshadow.
Chloe's.
And I'm Marie, and on short notice, I wore a pink sequined tank top and a white short skirt.
Nice. I'm Todd, and I am wearing tonight a gray shirt and some khaki blue shorts with Croc flip-flops that are somewhat colorful.
My name's Selah, and I'm wearing a mermaid top and black shorts
Yeah, what about your shoes?
and sparkly pink shoes with ruffly purple socks.
Yeah, you are.
And I'm Tim, and for the occasion, I wore my Supergirl shirt.
And I'm Matt, and I wore my bright pink shirt with an exclamation point on it, which I'll be wearing later this year to the Pink concert. If you didn't know this, she uses an exclamation point for the letter I in her name. Anyway, I wore it tonight for Barbie because pink.
Nice.
So anyway, that's what everyone's wearing. That's who everyone is. Let's get into the meat of this podcast. Tim, tell us who's in this, who we might know from a famous person, celebrity status perspective.
Well, our lead, of course, is Margot Robbie. She is, of course, Barbie. Ken is played by Ryan Gosling. Will Ferrell shows up in this as the CEO of Mattel. We had a lot of other cameos and people. Emma Mackey is in this. She's funny because she actually has been accused of being like a Margot Robbie lookalike. She was the brunette Barbie. Simu Liu, who played Shang-Chi, is one of the Kens as well. Michael Cera shows up as Alan, Ken's buddy. And then there are a ton of other people playing Barbie, including Kate McKinnon from SNL. She plays a weird Barbie. Issa Rae, who's been in many other things. She was the President Barbie. And we also had America Ferrera was in there as the mom of the daughter who plays with Barbie in this movie. And there's just a lot of other fun people in this, but those are the big names for the most part.
Yes, Rhea Perlman.
Thank you. Rhea Perlman is also in this.
And John Cena.
And John, I was going to...
As the mermaid!
Yeah, Dua
She
Lipa
was
is
in it.
also in this. Yes.
Yes, there were a lot of people.
A lot of people.
They're also hot.
So, what is this movie about? Well, it's complicated.
Yeah.
But it is about Barbie. Barbie is living in Barbie land and living the perfect day every day with all the other Barbies and all the Kens and Alan, and they're there, and then she starts to sense something is going wrong, and we find out that it's tied to someone in the real world, and she needs to go find that person by going to the real world, which she does through a circuitous path to get to the real world. And she finds this person, and she ends up bringing Ken with her, who learns about the patriarchy in the real world, and then he goes back to Barbie land and goes crazy with the patriarchy and tries to establish Ken world, Kendom. And Barbie has to go back with the person who she's been affecting in the real world, or who has been affecting her in the real world, who turns out to be a mom. And they go back and they have to kind of retake over Barbie land from the Kens. And then they all have to learn about how to grow as people and learn about how they can exist in the new reality of what they know in the world of Barbies. So that's what I'm going to say from a spoiler-free perspective.
Splendid.
Thank you. Todd, what is your gut reaction to this movie, Barbie?
I will give my gut reaction. I really enjoyed this movie. I would be surprised if there were many people who didn't enjoy this movie. It's just, I liked the acting. The script was sharp and funny. The ideas that they pulled out of the, not that the patriarchy is an idea, but, using the patriarchy, using women's movement, using everything to just kind of have a funny but also serious look at what it's like to be a woman in America, which is rough sometimes. And typically don't have so many women on this podcast. It's fitting for this one. So I think, and it doesn't go so, it goes deep, but it doesn't go so deep that I would recommend you not bringing your kid to it. Like, my daughter's here, and I'm pretty sure she's going to say she really liked it, but I'll leave that to her. Like I said, I think the acting was really spot on. I think, in my personal opinion, I think Ryan Gosling shined in this movie. It was really refreshing to see him in a role where he's, he's a heartthrob, but he's also making fun of himself as a heartthrob. So that was fun and nice to see. And, well, since we've got a lot of people here, I'm not going to prattle on. So I liked it. I think people should see it. If you're going to see it, sure, see it in theaters. If you live in the Columbia, Maryland area, go see it at the theater that's about to shut down, which is Snowden Square, where we typically see our movies. So, all that being said, I'm going to pass it off. And Marie, tell us what you think of this movie.
Thank you. I actually thought this movie was brilliant. I thought the writing was crazy good. It was hysterically laugh out loud funny many, many times. It made fun of itself. It made fun of us. It made fun of Barbie, and also how ridiculous the world is. And it shined a light on all those things. I loved seeing Margot not completely crazy, because most of her roles are psychotic. Kate McKinnon was always brilliant as herself most of the time. I've seen that character a few times, but she's always hysterically funny. It was great to see Rhea Perlman. Will Ferrell was funny. Ryan Gosling was adorable and hysterical and pitiful at the same time. The jokes were great. The message was great, and I really don't have anything bad to say about it. I thought it was a brilliant movie.
Nice. Let's go with Selah. What did you think of this movie?
I thought it was really good, and I really like how they made the weird girl really weird. So that fits as a weird girl. So, yeah.
Nice. Would you recommend people see it?
Yes.
All right, good. Let's move on. Tim,
Yes, I agree. This was a very pleasant surprise. I mean, it was parody, it was comedy, it was musical, it was drama, it was like whimsical, but it was also like when it had something to say, it really had something to say, and everybody committed to the roles. Everybody was really good. Like you said, the script was super sharp. There were a lot of really funny moments in it. There were also a lot of like emotional moments, and the movie took you on all these journeys, but you were there the whole way, and it never lost you. And it was a pleasant surprise all around. And the musical numbers are just as good as the jokes in the script. All right.
Sweet. Let's go with the first Chloe, because I think she's had the most time to think about what she would like to say.
So I really liked this movie. I will say at the beginning I was a little skeptical. Ken was getting on my nerves just a touch. I was like, oh, I don't know about this, but there was some redemption on that part. I will say before I saw the movie, I heard a lot of people talk about how it was very emotional in some parts and like it was funny but emotional. I avoided crying. I got a little teary at this one scene towards the end, but overall I think it was really funny. I really loved it. I think it had a good message. I think that you could bring anybody to the movie and it would somehow apply to them, and they would be able to see something in that they can apply to themselves. But overall, it was a great movie. I really loved it. I would probably see it again, and I totally think you should come see it.
Nice. Anyone want to go next? Raise your hand, or I'm going to pick. All right, Lizzy.
All right, so I'm Lizzy. So this is my second time seeing this movie, so I've had like time to refresh. I saw it Friday night. I had a different outfit.
That's right.
Chloe's outfit, actually. Anyways.
Yeah.
So I really liked how they were able to take like a plastic doll and bring it into a movie and then apply like human emotions to it. So like one of my favorite scenes was when new Barbie, who is now in the real life, is sitting on a bus stop bench, and she's looking out at a park, and she is just observing all of these people, and you can kind of tell that she is like seeing what they're feeling. And it was a wide variety of emotions. It was fighting. It was like someone being lonely. It was like like a children and a parent. And it was really cool to see how it was like a fresh take on like us as humans. Like we feel things so deeply, and we don't always see that perspective. So I really liked that part a lot. I also think that everyone was really attractive in the movie, which was wonderful. That was great.
No,
oh my god, they're so good.
point.
And then the dancing and the music numbers. They were so good. They were the choreographed dancing. It's just always a great thing. And to have like applied to dolls, which like dolls don't dance, but they made them dance and sing, and that was wonderful. And also, one last thing, I thought it was really like funny and refreshing to see like the jokes about men. They were so good. Like they were the way that the way that the Barbies made fun of men in the way that it wasn't like mean, but it was like accurate and funny and very relatable to a lot of women. Like bringing that into light and making a movie about that was so good. It was so funny, and it was so like, oh my god, I know what you're talking about. Like you get everything they were saying. So I thought it was wonderful. Beautiful movie.
Sweet. Kaya?
I mean, I don't have too much to say about it that hasn't already been said, but I do really appreciate all the details that were in there, because I know a lot about the old discontinued Barbies, and I liked seeing them all in the backgrounds and the details of their costumes, and how Alan kept saying that he could fit in Ken's clothes and stuff. I just wish Alan got more screen time.
Fair. Chloe, number 2, who's not number 2 in our hearts.
Exactly. No, I really like this movie. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I didn't really know much about the whole premise of the movie before I saw it. I had seen one trailer, and it was like a while ago, and like the earlier on you see the trailer, the more vague it is. And the only other thing I'd heard about the movie is my stepmother told me that me as a little girl was just like the girl at the beginning who was smashing a baby doll against a rock. So that was all of the context I had. But I was very surprised at some of the more serious moments. I did cry, I think, 4 separate times during this movie, which I was not expecting. I was kind of just expecting a comedy, and was pleasantly surprised by the meaning they kind of packed in there. So yes, I would definitely recommend this movie. I very much enjoyed it.
Nice. Take us home, Matt.
Well, so we've heard a lot of people with positive feelings about this movie, and that's great. And I have positive feelings about it too. One thing that you're going to get me on with the movie is have some absurd humor in there. That's always going to be a plus for me. There's plenty of that, and I really enjoyed that. And I think one thing that they touched on, it was sort of a theme throughout. You have a lot of different types of people in this movie, and yes, they're all beautiful, like Lizzy said. And I just love to see the representation there. And there's been a little bit of backlash in some segments of the population about this movie, and I really don't understand it, and it makes me sad to hear that, because it really just seems
against
like
the point of the movie.
It does go against the point of the movie, but I won't get too deep into that. I'll just say that I really enjoyed this movie as well, and I think you should see it. If I have anything detracting to say about it, I would say that I feel like at some points, it was hard to know what the movie wanted me to feel. Like, I had my feelings, but I thought that the movie in some points was very clear about, like, we're trying to deliver this message, but in other points the message, I feel like, got a little bit muddled at times. But that's a minor thing, and didn't take away from my enjoyment very much at all of the movie itself. And so yeah, I liked it. I think you should see it.
Nice. Well, getting down to our rating system, which may be new to some people. I don't know if you know about our rating system. We have a rating system of 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. You can go decimal points, and I'm going to assign the rating to something special from the movie. So, for this movie, Barbie, how many flat feet would you give this movie? 5 being the best, 0 being the worst, flat feet being the catalyst in this movie that sparks change. So
Pairs of flat feet?
just flat feet, no pairs. I know. Someone could end up with 5, and that's just awkward. But that's the risk you take when you podcast with us.
An octopus that had a bad accident.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so let's start with... Who do I typically start with?
Me?
Matt?
Yes. So like I said, I did it.
Sorry, hold on. And you're going to say how many times you cried during this movie.
Right. So I will. I'm going to give this 3.5 flat feet out of 5. And I did not cry during this movie. However, I did tear up in 2 different parts. So I don't count that as crying per se, but I was feeling some emotion. And so 3.5 flat feet out of 5. That's a weird number of flat feet, but it's almost 2 full people. Almost.
Almost. Marie?
I'm giving it 4.
And how many times did you cry during this movie?
Oh, I only teared up once, but it didn't overflow.
Okay. Selah?
I would give it a 3, and I didn't cry at all.
Didn't cry at all.
Oh.
Tim?
I am going to go a 4.2. I really enjoyed this, and I think it's worth people to go see.
But did you cry?
I got a little teary.
A little teary. All right. Lizzy?
It's a 5. It's a 5.
Wow, straight up.
That's a 5.
Is this the first 5 on the podcast?
No.
No.
One time.
Oh, you rated
Selah's
someone.
given a 5
That's right.
before.
See,
Nice.
we get it.
Yeah.
We get it. You guys don't get it, but we get it.
I hear you.
I didn't cry, which is surprising. I just was very pulled. My heartstrings were pulled.
Yes.
No crying, but plenty of strings were pulled.
Yes.
Sure. Got it. High up?
I give it a 4.7.
4.7. And how many times did you cry?
I did not cry.
Oh, okay. Chloe 1.
I give it a 4.872. I only took off a few points from the 5 because I was a little bit confused at times. And I didn't cry. I teared up one time, as I talked about earlier, but the tears didn't exit my eyeball area, so I don't think it counts as a full cry.
Gotcha. Chloe 2.
Okay. I thank you guys. I give it a 5. 5 flat feet out of 5. I have been known to fall asleep in those like reclining chairs in the movie theater like multiple times, and I didn't do that, which is a big deal. And I also didn't get lost at all during the movie. So I mean that's all I need. I cried. It's hard to say. I would give it four times that there were tears running down my face, probably spanning a total duration of maybe 10 minutes of the movie.
Laughing or
Oh no.
I love that. No.
Fair enough.
Trying to help you out.
Fair enough.
Help you.
I'm gonna give this movie a solid 3.7. Had a good time. I did not cry because I'm an emotionless male. However,
Just like him.
I did have some special feelings about seeing this with my daughter and seeing some of the themes that were in this movie that I want her to learn and know and be prepared for in life.
Yeah.
So,
What was your rating again, Todd?
I was a solid 3.7.
3.7. Thank you. Okay. Just having a little
Are you
spreadsheet
spreadsheeting
issue.
this?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
God,
always
the spreadsheet man.
That's one thing
We
about
got to
gracious.
have
You guys are
It's nice to see what they
gotta have our stats over time for the podcast. We also have to know what the average is, and with 9 people, the average can be difficult to calculate, especially with 4.8732.
I think it was 875.
I captured it correctly, don't worry. So, any last minute thoughts about this movie or about being on the podcast before we wrap up?
We got a line here. I'll just start
Okay,
here.
I have one thing to say about Ken, and I do think that I understood Ken's perspective in this movie because he was living in a world where it was like all opposite the real world, so like he didn't really have a voice. So I kind of understand why he would like react so strongly, but also it was a little bit uncalled for. But I do understand Ken.
I agree with you, and I didn't say that because I thought people would be mad at me because I'm a guy.
I
can't
wish
say.
that we got to hear from Midge since she was Barbie's original best friend. I feel
I
like
agree.
they should have given her a little bit more screen time.
I agree. There's a fantastic episode of Barbie's Dream House with Midge.
I think that the soundtrack was full of bangers. I would not skip a song. It was just incredible.
Agreed. Good soundtrack.
I want to give a shout out to, I guess, I don't know, the choreographer or whoever worked with the actors to move like dolls. Because, like, there are scenes where sometimes Margot or Ryan lean down or do something, but they do it in the doll and Kate McKinnon does it too. And it's phenomenal how real it looks for a doll. And that I thought that should get noticed.
Agreed.
And I originally did not want to see this movie because I saw one of the early trailers like you did, and it looked stupid and ridiculous and a big old commercial for Barbie. And then I read some reviews this week in preparation for coming, and I was so happy for the storyline and the message and how hopefully impactful this is on the girls and young women that are going to come see this movie, and those of us that are not young women, because it had a lot of truths and looked at things differently than we normally do, and I thought it was just brilliant with the message.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you to our diverse set of podcasters today. We appreciate you. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies with many special guests today, where we reviewed the movie Barbie. And we gave it an average rating of 4.191, 3 repeating, flat feet out of 5, which is a pretty good rating for our podcast. So go out and see this movie. Celebrate it. Watch it in theaters that may or may not be closing. And so thank you to all our listeners and subscribers and downloaders. Please keep doing all those things. And we will see you next time.
Da 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 da
Da da
da da da.
da da da.